Good morning. Let us discuss about the 16th July 2015 newspaper. The important article for our examination over here is criminal defamation. Now let us try to understand this. Now, any question that comes on criminal defamation, what is it? And next is the positive dimensions of the argument and negative dimensions of the argument. Linking with the Article 19(1)(a), that becomes crucial for the good answer over here. Now, what is this all about? Now, the section 499 and 500 of Indian Penal Code, they prescribe a maximum punishment of 2 years for an individual who is convicted in criminal defamation. Now, across the world, if you observe, the International United Nations Organization, a special committee of UN on International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, what it has said is the criminal defamation has to be avoided. Based on this, many countries have converted that into a civil suit. USA and UK are the typical examples. Now, why our state or our Attorney General is strongly arguing in favor of it? So what is been said is, the state has a responsibility to protect the dignity of its citizens. Second is, on the internet world, there is no pre-censorship, or pre-censorship, even if it exists, it is not possible. So a deterrence effect has to exist on the internet to spread the hatred and also to defame the dignity of the individuals. So the internet world, it will have a deterrence effect. Now the judicial system in India is not very much geared up to take up the civil cases, and there is a huge judicial delays. And the other argument which was also brought in is, the citizens may not have enough liquidity to pay the penalties under a civil suit. So, it means the cost of litigation for a normal person will be very high if it is a civil suit. Now, it appears a bit funny for me. It means that keeping in a jail is better than making a person to pay a penalty. That's what the argument has been finally coming down to. Now, the other thing is, there are enough exceptions to protect the freedom of speech. Now, if that is in the public interest. So, it do not exactly say that if it is truth, the contempt will be, exempted. But if it is in the pub, we have to prove that, though it is truth, we have to prove that it is beyond public interest and the thing. So, then only the individual will be, then only it will be exempted. Now, in this context, the government argued that the slander, the use of wrong words do not serve any public purpose. Now, on the other hand, why we have to do away with? Now, if you have to understand a law or any section, we have to see its implementation too. The government and the civil servants, they get an undue advantage because of this. So they misuse this to regulate the media and the political opponents making charges, levying charges against them. So the Article 19(1)(a), freedom of speech and expression, is getting regulated because of the fear of a criminal defamation, where the state can use its prosecution machinery to harass the press and the political opponents. And the second thing is, if you talk about in Representation of People Act, the sections 123, 125 also provide for reasonable restrictions. They provide for elaborate restrictions on the use of slander and also the wrong language during the elections. Already it has these provisions in it. Now, in its application, the magistrates, generally they do not take the exemptions into consideration. They summon the defendants for the court. So it means that it's becoming a law for the harassment, a section for the harassment of the people. Lawyer P.P. Rao, what he has argued is this, he is a constitutional expert. What he has argued is, the section 19 subclause 2, we have certain reasonable restrictions that can be imposed on freedom of speech and expression. So these restrictions have to be imposed if there is a compelling state interest, not a private interest. Now, this particular thing, that is criminal defamation, it is serving the private interest but not a compelling state interest. So in these circumstances, the criminal defamation is not more constitutional. Its restrictions are not constitutional. So what is the way out over here? So according to me, my opinion, the criminal defamation has to be done away with, and it has to be converted into a civil suit, and the penalties adjusted to the circumstances of India. And the next is air quality. So Government of India, it has launched the air quality in the last April, in air quality index in the last April. So in this, what are the various observations which we made, and what are the weaknesses of this air quality index? Now, till now we did not have any comparative index on the relative air quality in various cities, and the pollution is increasing because of the pattern of urban development which we have. Now, if you take the Western countries, the urban development got dissipated, spread out from the core center. In India still, the development is focused more and more towards the urban core, that is central core. It means the even spread out of the urban development also makes the vehicular population to evenly spread out. It decreases the traffic congestion. To that extent, it also decreases the air pollution too. So the even spread out of the development is one single this thing which we have to understand. And the second thing is the urban transport. So if you take the Singapore as an example, so a special tax is being levied on an individual to have a personal car. So a well-developed public transport system can be a remedy for the decreasing the air pollution. Now even you can take the Delhi Metro as an example. It has many intangible benefits in Metro, a public transport system, which can provide for the predictability. And most of the people do not use the public transport due to unpredictability. So if a predictability of a public transport increases, then it can improve the pollution situation in the cities. And if you go for Beijing, the major reason is health hazards. The microparticulate matter, it creates the huge respiratory infections, etc. So in Beijing and also in London, we give certain things called as the index serves a useful purpose to define the health hazard. Based on that, the people are advised to stay indoors. So it means the similar health advisories can be released in India to protect the people from the impact of the air pollution. Now, on the other hand, what are the defects of AQI? Now, it has brought a comparable data across the cities, but only 11 cities are covered, and it is restricted only to the few states and the few pollutants. That is what is the major problem with regard to air quality index. So try to check out and the pollutants under the air quality index. So what is the largest pollutant? It defines the score of a city on the air quality index. For example, SO2 has a higher value when compared to the others. It means more the air quality index, it means that it shall have the less SO2. So in the air quality index, the equal weightage is not given to all the pollutants. So next one is, with regard to states want freedom to frame their own acquisition laws, land acquisition laws. Now, we all know that land is a state subject, and the land acquisition laws are the instruments of any government to take up the developmental activities. And doing away with social impact assessment and also the compulsory agreement between the people. So all these things they are providing for the newer headaches, and also they are delaying the land acquisition process. And many of the developmental projects have stalled in the states. So a framework law can be provided by the center under which states can frame their own land acquisition laws. In India, the land acquisition was always from a law made by the center. Till now it was guided by the land acquisition law of the British days, I think 1894, if I am not wrong. Now, the land acquisition law, it is also being made by the Union Parliament. Better we shift the land acquisition into to the states, which is also constitutional because it's a concurrent subject. Land is a state subject. And next is with regard to WTO issue. Now I am sorry on one issue. This thing is This article is too technical to cover it in 5 or 6 minutes. Because the agreement on agriculture in WTO itself, it takes at least 10 minutes to explain. And also he tried to move the article from Doha round to the post-Bali conference. So the peace clause and all the technical issues and also the subsidies, different types of subsidies which are existing in the West. So all this to be explained, it takes some time for me. So that's the reason why I request you to go through the WTO issues, prepare them well before I explain this article to you. Once go through your class notes as a related material on WTO, and then we can teach this article for you. So these are about 16th July newspaper articles. So air quality index, the pollution, it is very part of the GS paper 3. So try to have this thing. And in paper 2, I observed is many of the students are getting lesser marks. The reason is they are unable to relate the questions to their current affairs. So try to take criminal defamation, update your notes with regard to Article 19 and criminal defamation. So the freedom of speech and criminal defamation. And also there are a lot of beautiful articles are coming up in media. Have control over syllabus. The control over syllabus will give you the control over the exam. And thank you very much. All the best.